Okay, it's January 22nd. It's 2019 here in the at the farm with mom and dad. We're going to talk about a variety of things during dad's grown up years.
Yeah. The what I wanted to talk about is when I was severely burned. I was in really good shape, or I would have lost my life. I was a boxer for Meridian High School, and I was the number one boxer for Meridian for that weight bracket. I started out at 95-pound bracket, and then 105-pound bracket. And it was during my sophomore year and I was running 4 miles a night after school to stay in shape. And we went out to my sister Beth's place to work
in Weiser.
In Weiser, yeah. And we would work without a shirt on and end up, from the waist up, really tan. And those two items saved my life as far as the burns are concerned that I got when I was 15 years old. My mother owned a dress shop in Boise. When my father came home from the prison camp, he couldn't really make a living for the family very well, and so my mother by that time had already opened up a shop in Boise and was doing real well with party dresses, formals, and things like that. Packard dresses on 904 Bannock in Boise, Idaho. And anyway, she brought home some of the formal dresses that have been tried on quite a few times, and they had some spots on them. And somebody told her that if she buys this white gas, that it will clean it off, just like cleaning fluid. And they told her that if you warmed it up a little bit on the stove, that it'll clean even better. Well, anyway, it was this early in the morning, and everybody was working on this rug in the living room, and she had put the white gas, a whole gallon of it, in an open kettle with no lid on it, and had it on the electric stove and turned the stove on high. And so when I came in to get a drink of water, it was boiling. We had a pump downstairs that made quite a bit of noise, and that was the last things we would do would be one of us was sent downstairs to turn it off for the night, and we'd leave a pitcher of water right by the kitchen sink, right, with a glass tumbler right by it for anybody who wanted to get up in the middle of the night and get a drink of water. It would work because when you turn on the water in the sink, it did not work because the pump was off.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's still off when I tried to get a drink of water, and so I was pouring the water in my glass, and when I turned around and saw this gas boiling, and I saw a flame go from the electric stove right on up and in. And immediately it was almost like an atomic bomb type thing. It just boom, it went off, and it was a column of flame right up to the ceiling and spreading out. Well, I had a pitcher of water in my hand. So the natural thing to do, I was 15 years rather. I was 15 at the time, and so I just threw it into the gas and hit it direct. I can still see that going in. And immediately it just spread that all over the kitchen. It put the whole kitchen on fire like an inferno. And the doors were on the two opposite sides, the one going outside and the one going into the mom's bedroom. And I backed up.
Were they actual doors or were they just openings?
One of them was an opening into mom's bedroom. It was just an opening like a door.
like a cased opening where it was just
It used to be a door.
Okay.
Because we had remodeled, and anyway. And the other one was a door that goes into the kitchen. And we had a telephone. We had a telephone sitting on this piece of wood. It's just a little block of wood.
This is the best side, honey.
And this was a hole was cut in the wall between the kitchen and the living room, and the telephone sets on this so that you could answer the phone from either room without having to go all the way around.
Right.
And so that's what this is, to hold the telephone and answer it. Well, Bill came rushing to it, trying to pull me through that little hole, and I know I would have got stuck.
And that's the actual.
Yeah, this is the actual board. Anyway, I'll finish telling that one. Anyway, I just ended up.
Bill tried to pull you through.
Yeah, and Dad came in that door, the opening here, and passed out right in, and they dragged him out with his feet. And he ended up in the hospital just 3 months, and I ended up in the hospital for 10 months. It really did make a big change and impact in my life because I was burned so bad. I went outside, I rolled in the grass. Well, Bill's the one that put me out. He rolled me in the carpet that they were doing, and because my shirt was on fire. I had a T-shirt on that went to, I'm sorry, it went to here and here, and Levi's. And so I was burned real bad wherever there was no skin over it. And the T-shirt caught on fire, and it was burned me bad on the back here and the back here. My hair was all burned off, and my face was burned really the worst, because the skin was just dripping from the heat and the flames, and was pure black. We had it right there by the sink, just really close to the
Let's do it at an angle.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, honey.
Yeah, it's showing. Anyway, that's the mirror that was on the wall. And when I came in the house, the fire, the fire went out. It was interesting. Both Bernie and Barbara, the two youngest, rushed to Mom and says, "What shall we do? What shall we do?" And they says, "Just go out and pray." And they did. They went around the back the house there. There's a big poplar tree, and they knelt and prayed. And when they came back, the house, the whole fire went out, and it was because of lack of oxygen in that room. It burned up all the chairs and the kitchen table, melted any plastic. It was very interesting because there was 2 full gallons left that had never been opened on the cupboard, and it burnt the linoleum right around them and didn't explode. It would just ripped that house right apart. But anyway, it was a miracle that it saved the house. But I did get burned really bad. I'm scarred from here to there, and from here to there, and the back, and the face, and I have some scars in my hair, but it grew back. And I found out when I was in the hospital that the blood supply to the face and the head is phenomenal, and that's why the face and the head, even though it was burnt the worst, healed up the best. They did replace this big scar here. I was in the hospital, like I say, I was 10 months, and I've gone through, after the hospital, I'd gone through a lot of operations every summer, and a total of maybe 42 different operations, plastic surgery, skin grafts, and things. Years later, we had a reunion in that house. I'm the one that planned it, because I found out from my brother
And
Bud.
I'm the one that suggested it, that we do everything this way and not,
Yeah, that's true.
he takes the credit for it.
Anyway, we really went to work on that reunion because we found out they were going to tear down the house. They had built a big house, in back
Well,
that
you
on
had
that lot.
sold the property and everything.
Oh, a
right?
long time ago.
Long time
But
ago.
anyway, they're going to tear it down, and we got permission to come in and take anything we wanted. So these things are original. This here happens to be the breadboard. A lot of people have these where they go in and they pull them out in the kitchen so that they have some additional room. And I ate on this many, many times.
This
Because
where
I
you had
was-
your meals.
Because I was number 13 in the family. We lost 2 boys, but still that made 15 children.
Yeah.
And we would pull that out, and 2 of us would eat on the breadboard, and the others around the kitchen table. And we had another one just like this. So we had 2 breadboards, and we ended up getting one of them. And the mirror was glued to the wall, but we were able to get it off the wall. And
Mom,
Talmadge,
you want to talk about that, Mom?
Sure. Well, when we took this off, we were afraid it would break because it was glued. And so anyway, we
Keep it
did.
just
We
like
got
it
it off.
was not in a frame.
It was not in a frame, and so I bought this, and I wanted to make kind of like a shadow box,
Yeah.
shadow box on it.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, so that's what I did. I got a deeper frame, and then put this in there with this around it, and we have it here displayed. And but Bob used it always, and the family every morning or during the day to see how they look and how they.
We only had 1 mirror in the whole home.
No mirrors in the bathroom.
No, nor bedrooms. There was no mirrors. Everybody had to use that kitchen mirror, and so it became very, very famous for the Packard families. And so that's one of the things that we really wanted is that mirror, and we had to take it off very, very carefully.
Well, we had even asked the whole family, can we take? Because they told us take whatever you want out of the house because it is going to be
Just
torn down.
demolished.
So I asked the family if it would all right if I took these things, and then when I took the mirror, I hid it for a long time until Bob had his birthday, and I gave it to Bob as a surprise.
I didn't know she had it.
She didn't know that I had it. She assumed that somebody else had taken, or he did, and so. But anyway, I hid it for quite a while, and then fixed it in the frame for his birthday as a surprise, and so. It's usually here someplace on the wall that we always have it.
That's awesome.
A great memory. That reunion was a great remembrance. We went to the high school, Meridian High School. You went to Meridian High School.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
We went to the Meridian High School reunion afterwards and stole the show because they divide you into what year you graduated. And of course, we have a Packard nearly in every year, way back when. It was a 50-year reunion type thing, and or more.
Right.
And that's the way they're doing it. Is if it's been more than 50 years, you all come to the same reunion. And
Plus, I have taken these, the board, the breadboard, and everything, and I had, for the pardon, resanded.
Just kind of clean them up.
It really cleaned them up, both of the for the phone and for the bread to make the bread and stuff like that. So.
there's the screws that were in it. Just held
Into
it
the
down.
wall. Mm-hmm.
And some of these things were hard to get off, especially the mirror. And my brother Bill, he had already retired, but he knew houses because he was a house builder,
Sure.
and he knew how to get stuff off without breaking them. He was able to do it all.